Hi guys, it's Whiskey. Today's poem is not a poem. It is an excerpt of a speech from Theodore Roosevelt in 1910 when he was comparing the two republics. The speech was in Paris, France, and he was speaking about the fact that Paris itself is a republic and the United States is a republic, and it was talking about how those entities operate and function and how they're different from other governmental bodies, and how the people who belong to those republics are held to a different kind of standard because they have a different form and function within that system. There is an excerpt or a paragraph from that speech that I have been in love with for years. I'm actually trying to figure out how to design a tattoo for it. It's kind of abstract, so I don't know where I'm going with that yet. But I'm going to read the excerpt, and I'm going to go through a few lines at a time and just discuss inside of it what it's talking about, because it's over 100 years old in its writing, so it doesn't entirely lend itself to our speech today. Okay. The arena. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming. But who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows the great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who never know victory nor defeat. I absolutely love that. The first couple sections, it is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. My favorite quote to explain that section, it's funny I'm using a quote to explain an excerpt, but my favorite quote is, they don't build statues to critics. They don't. They do not build statues to critics. The person standing on the sidelines, running their mouth and not doing anything, is not who leaves the legacy. That is not who makes the change. And that is not what a leader is either. And ironically, the critics are the ones who rip down the statues, if you want to get technical, but we're not going there. The credit belongs to the man who's actually in the arena. The man or woman who's doing the work, who's making the change, who's worked on themselves so that they can help other people work on themselves. Whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again. You only fail when you stop trying. And we don't do everything right the first time ever. If we do, we call it luck, but really the odds are that we've done some version of what we were doing before that, and we've actually perfected it to the point that we just don't think about the fact that we've done it in other venues. Because there's no effort without error or shortcoming, right? If we're putting in efforts, we're not always going to do everything exactly the way we want it, and we're not always going to get things right. But who does actually strive to do these deeds? It's real, again, the person who's in the arena, the person who's doing the work, doing the blood, sweat, and tears to get where they want to go. Who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause. So somebody who's excited and living their passion is somebody who knows great enthusiasms. Somebody who can't wait to get out of bed every day because they know they're getting to do what they love to do and change the world. Since I started doing these videos, I sleep like a baby, and my brain is happy all day because I'm engaged in what I'm loving to do. The great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause. We, as human creatures, are built to give. We are built to give our energy. We were built to give our effort, and we were built to give the best of us to someone else or to something else, the land, the earth, the animals, another human, right? Our great devotions and our great passions and our great callings are what we all individually have something to contribute to this world. Nobody has the same thing to contribute that someone else has. And it's understanding where our place is in that arena and where our arena is. We don't all have the same arena. And it's understanding to investing that energy in that arena itself and in yourself. Who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement? You don't get high achievement without high effort, and you don't get high effort without the risk of high failure. And who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, right? You have to put in the high effort. You have to put in the work. You have to not have the fear or get beyond the fear of failing. Nobody who has done amazing things in their lives or defeated any kind of statistics or odds has done it right out of the gate. Bruce Lee said that I would rather go up against a man who practiced 1,000 different punches one time than a man who practiced one punch 1,000 times. Because he knows that person that put in minimal effort is an easy opponent. There's no challenge there in that fight because he has put in the work and the other person hasn't. Same thing with Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan's like, oh, everybody say, oh, he could do an awesome free throw or whatever it is, or 3-point throw. I'm not big on basketball, but I get that concept at least. And the truth of the matter is, Michael Jordan threw 1,500 shots every single day. Every single day. He wasn't magically born with that skill, and he wasn't magically born at that level. Did he have a gift that he had to develop and create inside his arena? Absolutely. Same thing with Bruce Lee. They took their natural talents and their natural gifts and they worked at them, and they didn't listen to the naysayers. They didn't listen to the critics because they both had them. But they did what was true to themselves, and they excelled at what they did. And the last line, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who never know victory nor defeat. If you're not putting in the effort to get to the place A based on last week, who are you and what is your goal and where are you headed? And B, once you know that, or once you have a feeling of where you're supposed to go, we have to put some effort in. We have to take accountability for where we need improvement and where we want to improve, or understanding that maybe where we thought we wanted to head isn't where we want to head and we want to change that. I really hope the wind is not getting in the video very bad, guys. It's actually 20 degrees cooler than it has been, so it's amazing, but it's pretty breezy today. But anyway, we're going to understand, and we're working towards understanding our own individual arenas, and all of those arenas are all connected inside this one huge arena we call the universe. I mean, not even the world, right? It's the universe. And how all our energies and all our arenas and all our skills and all our gifts combine to create a different world than the one we're living in. The arena, to me, is that foundation. It is that stepping stone. It is that pedestal. And I will say pedestal. It is that pedestal that we put ourselves on to say, this is where I am. This is where I'm going. This is my purpose and my calling. This is the job and the work that I want to do. And this is what I'm going to put into it. And basically, to hell with all the naysayers, because they are not in my arena. And also to hell with the fear that I'm going to fail, or things aren't going to go right away, or they're not going to be perfect, or I might have to change my mind or change my direction somewhere along the lines. It's okay. That is your pedestal. That is your arena. That is your life. That is your purpose. And don't let ever, 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 ever let anyone else tell you what to do with yours. Because you can simply just look at them and say, hey, get in the arena.